Hello everybody, welcome to my series about all Chopin's music. In today's video we are going to talk about Waltz in G-flat major, opus posthumous, so the waltz that Chopin didn't publish. But this waltz, my friends, has the exact date of composing. One of the few pieces of Chopin's have it, but we have the autograph with the date written by Chopin's hand, and I will talk about it soon when we will analyze it. But first, let's just enjoy and listen to this happy music. Okay, so when this piece was written? That's the first question we are going to answer. This piece was written exactly, and we can read about it in the commentary of my edition, Jan Ekier National Edition, on the 8th of August 1832. So this is Chopin, who is 22 years old. 2 years after leaving Poland, already settled in Paris, and 2 years after November uprising. So 2 years after Russia war with Russia started, the uprising. 2 years after he wrote Revolutionary Etude. Well, 2 years after he wrote, started to write his Scherzo number 1 and all the other dramatic pieces of music. But anyway, isn't it strange in a way? Because maybe some of you thought, if you didn't know, that this is a young Chopin, because it's so happy, it's so light, it's so full of jokes, right? But it's, of course, he is young, 22 years old, of course. But as you know, we can separate Chopin's life into two parts. At least I'm doing that. One, until he was 20 years old, before leaving Poland. This is the first part. And the second part, after he turned 20 and November of 1830, when he left Poland. And then in Poland, November uprising started. Then his life completely changed. Everything inside him completely changed. But this waltz is destroying the image of Chopin, who is suffering all the time and sad all the time and all the time missing his country, thinking about how terrible his life is, sick, no power, no jokes whatsoever, no, 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 and no again. You never think about it like that anymore, if you ever thought so before. Of course, we have in Chopin's music this żal, this missing his country, sorrow, of course, but he was a normal guy. He also had very good humor, good mood. He loved to joke, and here we have it. And now, to prove my words, you know what I did? When I found out the exact date and the exact day which Chopin wrote when he composed this was the 8th of August 1832. What I did, of course you know me already. The Sherlock Holmes of Chopin's music, as one of you called me in the commentary, which I actually love it, took Chopin's letters. I have all of them. This is only one, the first volume. There is also a second volume like this. I took it and I found the letter which is written just 6 days before this date, just 6 days before this waltz was composed. Or maybe Chopin was already composing it, we don't know. But definitely this letter is worth to quote. The letter is written to Ferdinand Hiller, the composer from Germany. And Chopin writes to him as follows. And I found the English translation because it's what I have is in Polish, but I found it on the internet. You can find Chopin's letters, which is very nice, for free. So, your trios, my dear fellow, have long been finished, and being a greedy person, I have swallowed your manuscript into my repertoire. Your concerto will be performed this month at a conservatorial contest by Adam's pupils. Mademoiselle Léon plays it very well. And now the best part of this. Okay. La Tentation. This is the title of the opera. La Tentation, a temptation. So, La Tentation, Temptation, an opera ballet by Halevi and Gide has tempted no one of good taste, for it is as little interesting as your Germanic diet is in unison with the spirit of this century. But this is so funny, you know, in Polish actually version. This I have exactly the same letter in Polish version, and in Polish version this I would translate it a little bit differently. He writes something like this: The Temptation, the opera ballet by Halevi and Gide. This is exactly translated exactly the same way. Tempted no one of good taste. You know what it means? That nobody of good taste liked this opera, because it is as little interesting as. And now here in Polish version Chopin writes, it's as little interesting as your German parliament. In Polish we have the word parliament, but Chopin wrote it in French, and I don't have the French version. So there is something with the, because this is here I have the diet. Well, both words are very funny. We can leave it because what we feel here. We feel young Chopin who settled in Paris, who finally started to find his place, who met the greatest artist already, because at the end of this letter, I didn't tell you, but now I tell you, Franz Liszt wrote one line. So they were together. When Chopin wrote this letter to Ferdinand Hiller, Franz Liszt was together with him, and he wrote one line to Ferdinand Hiller from himself. So Chopin knew Franz Liszt. Chopin knew all the greatest artists of Paris, living in Paris, of that time. And he felt you know how it is. He was insecure when he came to Paris. Then when they gave him this feeling that they think he's great, then his self-confidence grew very much. And here he is, writes a piece to impress French salon. And my friend, believe me, if you are not a pianist, and if you are a pianist or you play the piano, you for sure agree with me, this is the most difficult of all posthumous Chopin's waltzes. And it's created to be difficult, especially the first part, but also the second. So I will show you these difficulties now when we will be doing analysis, but I want to tell you that whenever you hear the pianist playing this waltz and playing it well, especially, you can be sure that he spent a lot of time on this. It's very short, but it's not that innocent. It's extremely hard and demanding. Okay, so now analysis. As you can clearly hear, we have two big parts of this waltz, and these two big parts are completely different, but they complement each other. They you know, one part has something that the other doesn't. It's like with perfect couple, you know, perfect couple when she has something that he doesn't have, and they together they are complete. So this waltz is complete in that sense. It also is written for the complete pianist. Who knows, as I told you about the letter, Franz Liszt was with Chopin at that time, which was not so common because, as you know, Franz Liszt was touring all over Europe, so to have him in Paris was a blessing. So I'm sure, I'm more than 100% sure, and Chopin, you agree with me, right? Liszt played this waltz. Yes. Sorry, I'm crazy. Anyway, Liszt played this waltz for sure, because of course when Chopin played, maybe Chopin played it for him, so Liszt played it sight read. I think if he sight read this, even if he was a superb sight reader, this part, especially in the fast part, he probably had to a little bit slow down because of, yes, now I show you why. So what, let's start from this, describing these difficulties. What is so difficult? First of all, the pianist must have a very fast and light and precise fingers in the right hand. Because right hand has a very fast moments, and then this can you see that we go up and down, you are very close, so you can see sometimes the hand has to jump very fast from here to here. I play it for you slower. Now listen, look. Can you see that? This is hard by only for right hand alone, but left hand is also very difficult because it has to move all the time. We call it jump. We have to jump all the time from left to right, from right to left, and so on, and play a very light waltz rhythm. Look. This is not yet so hard, but then the second part, look. This is not easy, my friends. One. Okay, so such an innocent waltz, but yet so difficult. So as you can see, I can tell you from my perspective, from the perspective of the pianist who learned it, that okay, when you learn the right hand, then left hand, then it's still like left hand is disturbing the right hand because it is doing something completely different, right? So yeah, so that's why. And Chopin writes vivace, which means very fast, very lively, exactly, right? Okay, so this is the analysis of the difficulty, but that's not the end, because the part B, this beautiful part, is written in double notes all the time, double notes or even triple notes, which I will tell you a little later. Now let's analyze this first happy and joking part. How the phrases are constructed. Do we have this short, short, long that Chopin loved to use? You know what I'm talking about? Short phrase and long phrase. Do we have it? No, we don't. Now, how it is constructed? In a very fantastic way and different from other waltzes that we were analyzing before. Let's differentiate motifs from here. So, motif number 1. This is motif number 1. What do we have here? We have the arpeggio. That's how we call this in music. Right? Arpeggio. When we go, this is the arpeggio. I know you know, but just for somebody who is here by accident and doesn't know, just I tell you. So, and this is the first motif, number 1. And then motif number 2 is like, how can we call this? It's like a circle. It's a little bit like mazurka. We have a triplet, ta 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 tam pam pam, triplet double 1, triplet double 1. So like a little ritenuto in one bar, in a microscopic ritenuto, triplet double 1. Okay, and so that's good. So this is motif number 2, and now let's listen. Motif number 1, number 2, number 2, number 2. 3 times number 2. It's not regular. 1, 2, 2, 2. 1, 2, 2, 2. Can you hear that? 1, 2, 2, 2. 1, 2, 2. 1, 2, 2, 2. So it's like the second is repeating, right? All the time. Very funny. And this is the first part of this waltz, the fast waltz. And then the second part is the same. Listen. This is so hard. You know, it's really like, it's like you play Liszt. You know, the campanella. Thanks God I'm playing campanella, so it's easier for me. But when I play this part of the waltz, I'm never sure if I hit the right note. Never. Because this is so fast, this moving hands. So anyway, coming back to the business. So how it is constructed? The same way? No, not the same way. Most funny way. More funny. Much more funny way. So, why more funny? Because, look, now we have the first phrase. This is also arpeggio going up. And then what happens? The same phrase, number 1, upside down. So, motif. The same motif. Motif number 1. Motif number 1, upside down. And then what? Motif number 2. And motif number 2. This is the same that here. This motif is the same, so I know it's a little bit chaotic, but now let's put it together as clear as possible. I hope you follow me. The first part is motif number 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, and then the second part, 1, 1 upside down, 2, and 2, 1, 1 upside down, 2, and the end. There is no short, long. This is Chopin who doesn't write like he usually did. He's just having fun, and he writes a regular phrases, 4 bars, 4 bars, 4 plus 4 is 8, and so on. So that's how the first fast waltz, let's say, is constructed. And then what happens at the end of this, where we have this fabulous modulation which is changing the key, which means changing the world of sound. Chopin is changing only one note. I play for you this from the end. Only one note. And we enter a completely different world. The world which is my favorite world from all of posthumous waltzes. Yes, my friends. This waltz, this part is particularly this part is my favorite part of all the posthumous waltzes. I just love it. I love to play it just for myself. I always enjoy it. It gives me such a great energy and mood. But now I play for you a part of it, and I have a question for you. While I'm playing, think about one word in which you could describe the character of this or the mood of this. And later I tell you what word I have in my head. Different things. So, which word you chose? I will, since it's not live, so I will read your comments with pleasure. My word is sensual, or seductive, even better, or even erotic. For me, this is so obvious that Chopin is writing music that he wants to seduce his audience. Of course, mostly the woman part of audience, the female part of audience. I'm sure when he played this in the salon, they were all his. I mean, this music is so. And why it is so, I will tell you. Because we will do the analysis, right? So we discovered that a genius, a fantastic music. But do you know what I discovered also? That this is G flat major, which is also F sharp major. This is the same key. And if we compare this to Chopin's most erotic and most sensual and most seductive piece of music, which is a barcarolle. Sorry. You know this piece. the very exactly the same way. And it's the same key, the same tonality. So it means that for Chopin, this tonality probably was connected with this kind of feelings. Interesting, very interesting. Anyway, what's so special in this part? There are many things actually. First of all, we have it is constructed in ABA structure, ABA form. And the part A is, as I said before, in in the thirds. So we have double notes, two notes played together. This was a symbol of a couple that love each other. It was always a symbol. Chopin was using it a lot in some of his nocturnes, in his mazurkas, in many places. This is the symbol because there are two people singing together, right? Singing in thirds. Thirds means this is the third. This is the first very interesting thing. And the second very interesting thing, which makes this so seductive, is how the energy here is built. Everything starts from the release. We don't have any tension here. But then, what do we have here? Tension. And it should be resolved. But it's not. Chopin is building more tension, more tension. So it's like more tension, right? Tension, more tension, and finally resolved. And again, tension, more tension. So we are waiting for something. Now another thing. There is so many things here. I want to show it all for you. Suspended notes. Just like in one of the other waltzes I showed you, suspended note is the note that is preceding the correct note. So the note that, we are waiting for the note which comes as a second one. So if we get rid of these suspended notes, the melody would be like this. Nice, right? This is like a skeleton of this melody. With the suspended notes. Very beautiful. So this all is very interesting, and this all makes this mood. And also two notes in one snare, which is a symbol of right? So 22 years old Chopin, a master of music, of creating moods, all kind of moods in music, and he knows perfectly what he's doing, and he knows why he wants to do, right? I'm sure this was a huge success in Paris. So this is part A. And then part B, we don't have two, but we have three notes in the right hand. But it's not really three singers, but it sounds more like orchestra in intermezzo. this intermezzo is full of tensions. Tension, release. But tension and tension, release. But this is also a kind of tension, and then answer it. So here Chopin is also playing with the energy, creating tensions all the time, and using 3 notes, so like chords, we call it chord, in the right hand. That's the end of the analysis, because it's a very short waltz, but yet so beautiful. And with this analysis, we officially closed the genre of waltzes by Chopin. There is one more in Paderewski edition. Do I have it here? I don't think so. But this waltz is not in this edition, and it's doubtfully Chopin's waltz. So I'm not going to analyze it, because I personally think it's not Chopin's music. It is much worse. So now that's the end. Let's say goodbye to the genre of waltzes, and let's listen one more time to this beautiful piece. This waltz has no ending, and this is something that disturbs me in this waltz. It has no ending. It ends all of a sudden. Anyway, thank you very much for watching until now, for being with me, and see you again in my next videos. Bye bye.